rejection. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor. Turn that giddy bird into a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's blow this town, break the speed of sound. Tonight we own the road. Dream machine, racing queen,
All right, a very good evening to everyone on this Monday night. It's simRace Africa. I am Ryan Hill with you in the booth. I also have Nick Hodgson. Nick, how are you doing this evening?
Good evening, Ryan, and good evening, everybody. Looking forward to it tonight. simF1 here at simRace SA, and we are, of course, at Red Bull Ring, which is going to be very exciting. It's always a track I particularly have enjoyed driving around here. So yeah, looking forward to see what the guys have in store for us tonight.
Yep. Indeed, I know I think it's a bit of a love it or hate it relationship with the Austrian track. I do not mind it at all. I do know some guys swear that it shouldn't be on the F1 calendar at all, but other guys actually really adore it. So yeah, let's see what we're in for tonight. Pretty good turnout. We've got about 13 drivers expected in the field once they all trickle in. Quite a few guys, unfortunately, are either out sick or have got load shedding with ESCOM. But still enough for a good grid. We've got quite a few new drivers on the grid tonight as well. So keep a look out for the likes of Andris Suriani, Victor Vamos, Alexis Loisdes. Apologies if I'm butchering any of these names, but yeah, welcome to all the new guys. Good to have you with us. And just a little look at the weather as well, just while we get going. There's the last few minutes of practice in the background. Pretty warm today, 26 to 28 degrees, clear weather, of course. Wind is really negligible. The road temperature is going to be slightly hotter than that, 28 to 30. A start grip of 97%, which is pretty grippy. I'd say it's quite fast. Gain of 40 laps with a grip transfer of 90%, which means by the time of race start, it should be optimal grip completely.
So should be perfect race conditions for these guys. So I don't anticipate any issues there. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of lap times we can be expecting. Of course, I believe our championship leader is currently Emil, and unfortunately he's out sick today. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who can take the win tonight. Mikhail Matthews, of course, has been giving Emil a big run for his money tonight. So potentially this could be a race for Mikhail to capitalize on. From a championship point of view, we'll have to see what happens there. And of course, Jeremy de Villiers, Emil's father, of course, has been doing quite well as well this season, so it could be a good race for him to capitalize on as well.
Indeed, and just looking at the times in practice offline during the week, Jeremy setting the fastest lap with a 106.3. Currently, I see in the background on practice, Jude Stewart has a 106.5. But yeah, just briefly looking at the championship standings. So we're on round 4 of 7 with 2 drop rounds in the competition, so still anything can happen. But yeah, currently Emil de Villiers heading up the championship with 75 points, Jeremy on 48, and Mikhail Matthews rounding out your top 3 on 36. With Emil out tonight, yeah, there's some valuable points up for grabs. I think it could be a close race, and there's also the likes of Cornet Breed up there. Mohamed Dokrat's known to be quite fast. Raymond Duggan was also putting in some really fast lap times offline. I think he was second on the board to Jeremy with a 106.5 as well. So yeah, lots to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. And very interesting to see what happens tonight. Very excited for the race. I think there could be some good overtaking opportunities here as well. Quite a technical track is the Red Bull Ring, but also with quite long straights, it does mean that there are opportunities in which to affect an overtake. So yeah, definitely also a track that should be fairly easy to follow. Not too many twisty sections that we saw in the last couple of tracks that we've been at, which can make following quite difficult. Whereas sort of the midsection of the Red Bull Ring is about the only particularly twisty section. So I do expect these guys to be able to follow each other fairly easily. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. It'll also be interesting to see what they do tire wise. We've seen typically guys qualifying on I'm trying to remember, the C5 I think is
C5 is the softest.
Is the softest.
Yeah.
So, expecting qualifying to be on the C5, maybe some guys on the C4, but typically the C5 has been the best there. But then in the race, we've seen in the last few races, the C2 has generally been the tire that most guys have ended up on. A few people experimenting with the C1 And we'll have to see what happens here at Red Bull Ring. I mean, the tire compounds do fluctuate in terms of effectiveness over different tracks, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens here tonight. But for the most part, I wouldn't expect too much of a deviation there, so I think we will see the C2 being predominantly used for the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And under race conditions, during qualifying as well, you guys can keep an eye on what drivers are using, what tire compound. It should appear in the leaderboard tower as well, but we'll try and keep you informed as things go along. So it's currently an overtime of practice, and we're going to be flicking over to qualifying. I'm actually going to go to a quick 30-second ad break while we wait for that, and then we'll be back at the start of quali. Alrighty, we're back live. Quali is underway. You're seeing everyone piling out of the pits, trying to get a good gap on some clean air. Looks like Jeremy de Villiers is first out of the pack, on track right now.
Yeah, and everybody on the C5 tire, except Ben Wheeler, currently on the C4. I imagine that'll change. See Raymond Duggan as well, but I imagine those guys will be out C5 at some point. The track currently at 98% grip. That's very interesting considering, and I did see practice ended at 98%. So the guys were doing the quickest time we saw in practice on the server now was a 106.5. But you were saying to us, Ryan, that in practice the quickest anybody went was a 106.3. So they're already only within 0.2 of a second for the quickest time ever. So I wouldn't be surprised if we could go quicker than a 106.3. You know, maybe even somebody dipping into the fives.
Yeah, I think certainly we've seen guys on race day themselves pull out all the stops, maybe just sort of holding back their cards in offline practice perhaps. But yeah, certainly the conditions look pretty favorable right now already. I've just seen it tick up another percent to 99% grip. We're going to be on 100% optimal anytime very shortly. Jeremy is about to pull his banker. Sorry, I go for it.
I was going to say the more laps these guys do, of course, the quicker the track is going to evolve. So it does make sense for these guys to be out doing as many laps as they possibly can, because you don't want to be caught out with when the track actually ticks over to 100%. You want to be out on tracks, particularly at the death, of course, get that last little bit of performance. And you know, these guys are getting as many sets of tires as they like. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they manage that. A guy like Jeremy de Villiers, I know, likes to do sort of one flying lap, go in and grab a new set of tires and go again. So he's going to be running
what he's just done.
Yeah, he'll be running extremely low in fuel as well. With 15 minutes and such a short track, you will get a bunch of runs as well. So I would expect Jeremy to be able to, with this sort of tactic, be able to put in sort of 7, maybe even 8 laps. In this 15-minute qualifying session. But at the moment, as you say, guys, just getting in some banking laps. As we can see, Jeremy, though, has already put in a 106.3, so equaling the best time we saw on the practice server. So conditions really favoring these drivers right now, and the time's very close as well. So Andres is one of our new guys. He's a 106.6, and Jude Stewart, a bit of a stalwart now in the F1 series for us. He's 106.7. So not too much separating the top 3 at the moment, and even Raymond Duggan 106.9. So there's already 4 guys in the 6s, and we've barely started this quali session.
Yep, I'm just looking at this times essentially in the top 5, 6. They're all super close right now. And nice to see the new guys, Andres Ciarani, up there immediately on the pace. So good to see, and we'll keep an eye on him as well.
Now Ben Wheeler doing a 107, the first guy of our guys in the 107s, but he's doing it on the C4 compound. Raymond Duggan as well, also doing his quickest times on the C4 compound. So these guys clearly liking a tire that just lasts a little bit longer. They can maybe eke out a couple more laps before it overheats entirely.
It looks like the trio of Flying Gypsies cars coming down the hill. Just making space. Looks like Raymond's taking point right now. And I'm sure those guys will also try and work together. Maybe get a little bit of a draft down some of the back and main straights. Eke out a couple of tenths at best.
Serrani is actually up on his delta at the moment, about a tenth and a half as he goes through the sort of sector 2 of the Red Bull Ring. Looking into the last couple of corners now, two tenths up, so there could be a nice little improvement here. Ooh, as we see Corne Briet. Good lap time from Corne Briet there, 106.1.
Trace crosses the line.
It will improve, but doesn't manage to bank that 2 tenths.
Yeah, Corne with a 106.19, so a cracker of a lap there. Jude Stewart's just taken second as well with a very fast middle sector, going purple there.
And of course, Jude, karting, one of the guys in karting in real life, I believe. So very used to this sort of style of qualifying. You're going to make it count with very little time. See the guys all going out again. Lawrence Sterner, about the only man in the pits right now, and even he's on his way out. Corne Briet looking to line himself up for another lap. So all of these guys really just doing one flying lap, and then pitting.
Oh, he might be on a quick lap round. Azevedo's just gone purple sector on sector 1, green sector 2.
Yeah, he's 4.5 tenths up on his delta, looking almost to 5 tenths. So if he can get this across the line, Ryan is definitely going to set a good time here.
Keeps it nice and tidy around the final corner.
Yeah, going to be a good lap time this one. There we go.
Up to 4th, yeah, good jump there.
Very nice and close. So there's, we're looking at sort of 2-3 tenths separating the top 5 here. That's really good.
Yeah, super close. I've just seen Mikhail Matthews unfortunately disconnect from the server. Hopefully he's able to make it back without any complications. Still got quite a bit of time.
Was Jeremy de Villiers now puts in a 106.1 to take provisional pole by a few hundredths of a second from Corne Briet.
That's, by a hair. Corne, meanwhile, has a purple middle sector, so I'm going to stay on board with him now as he's approaching the second to last. Corne goes across the line, and he's taken provisional pole for now, so that's a great improvement.
Yeah, so we're about halfway through qualifying now, so things are really starting to heat up. Of course, the track is getting quicker and quicker as we go through the qualifying session. So that could be why you are seeing some of this improvement. But Corne Briet in the first man in the 105s, that's fantastic.
By some margin, 105.8.
Jude Stewart,
yeah,
going second now. Track, I'm still showing as 99%, but it does feel like it's about
it's just clicked over. Yeah, I've just gone to 100 now. So there's probably still some more time to be had.
With 6.5 minutes left in this session, there's plenty of time to get out there and do a couple of hot laps when the track is at its absolute peak.
I've just started watching Jeremy de Villiers now. He's just started his hot lap. A little bit of traffic, but yeah, stays well out of the way. Good job, Flying Gypsies there. Oh, it's not a great first sector. 0.12 down on his best. A little bit squiggly out of that corner as well. He doesn't need to improve much to jump a slot ahead of Jude Stewart though. So we'll see what he can do in this middle sector.
I'm seeing Andrew Serrani. He's really up on his delta at the moment. It's saying outlap for me. I'm not sure why, but he's got 3.5 tenths on his personal best, so it can't be. It can't be his outlap. This must be a flying lap as he comes over the line. Ooh, gains 2 tenths through the last corner. He'll be 5.5 tenths up here. This is going to be a great lap as he
big jump.
starts into second position there.
Well,
That is
106
phenomenal.
dead. Yeah.
Oh, and then Jeremy de Villiers. Look how close second, third, and fourth are right now, Ryan. That is ridiculous. That is really, really close.
We're just seeing a little bit of lag issues from Alex R coming out of the pits there. Hopefully his latency settles.
Raymond Duggan with some traffic ahead of him, but he is a tenth up on his delta going into turn 2. So there's definitely some time here for Raymond. Now 3 tenths of a second up.
Gypsy's teammates, fortunately, so they should hopefully see him and get out the way.
Yep, 2 tenths now. So, oh, he's gone in deep. He's gone in deep.
He's wasted that lap. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. See if we can find somebody else on a quick lap. Jude Stewart now following Corne Briet, and Jude is up on his delta, kind of using Corne as a bit of a slipstream here.
Yeah, this could be extremely beneficial.
10th up on his delta,
Yeah.
and you can see the slipstream is starting to make a little bit of a difference there. Into the last corner we go. Not getting the perfect exit, but definitely a 10th up here. This could be a good lap.
Yep.
Jude slots into second place. He is the second man now to jump into the 5s. Fantastic to see 2 drivers getting into the 5s, and that gap over the top 4, top 5 guys is really starting to condense. Kyle Matthews is out on track, Ryan. He is out on track with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left.
To see.
And
he's up on the
he's
start.
just done a bank.
Yeah.
Lawrence Sterner, they're improving into 6th position now, the 106.4, very close to Ryan de Azevedo, so that's fantastic to see. Interesting how that little battle will play out. Mikhail Matthews, of course, incredibly high up on his delta because this is his first true flying lap. So we'll see how he does here.
A quick hello to all the YouTube viewers as well. Thanks for tuning in. How's it, Sean? How's it, Shamil?
Ooh, Jeremy de Villiers now getting into the 5s, the 5.829.
I think Mikhail Matthews may have just binned his lap there. He went very wide, and it looks like he's bailing out of that lap. Yep.
Oh, he doesn't have too much left. He only got 3 minutes. 3 minutes to get a lap, and the pressure really is on. I mean, with these guys so close in their lap times, you've got to imagine that the front pack is going to be very difficult to try and work your way through. I mean, you've got 3 guys in the 105s now. That's really incredible. Corne Britt still leading the way at 105.810. Feels like quite a while since ago since Corne Britt did that. Whereas Jeremy de Villiers just very recently came so close, hair's breadth away, just 0.019 between them. Jude Stewart slightly up on his delta now as well. Actually, nicely up on his delta now.
It's almost
10th and a half. Not a great exit from that corner, but throwing himself into Pirelli through Worth.
Careful middle sector.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He really gained a lot of time there. Look at coming out the corner, out of Worth as well. Flying through Rint. And then into the last corner. This is where you see how much time he gained. 10 through the last corner. That's where he didn't capitalize.
Oh, he's gone
and
full.
that is a 105.6. Wow.
What a crack.
That is fast. That is fast. With 1 minute 28 left, he's probably got time for one more flying lap, and he is going out again.
He's purple first sector, green second, so he could be on for a challenge here.
Oh, definitely with 2 tenths up now.
Well, I think this is going to be easy.
No, he's got a bad exit.
Oh no, that last corner.
Could be close.
Oh,
But he makes it.
sneaks it.
Makes it. It's absolute squeaker. Wow. Goodness, Cornet, that is cutting it fine at the moment. Cornet is not going to have enough time to set another lap. So Cornet is done. Lawrence Sterner puts himself into 5th. The 106.1. Not quite able to challenge Andres Serrani. Jude Stewart will get another lap in.
Kyle Matthews.
As Mikhail
pops-
Matthews
pops to
basically
4th.
only gets 1 lap in, but he does pop into the 5s. To a 5.9 for Mikhail Matthews. So he's in the mix. Mikhail is in the mix tonight.
Yeah, anything sub 106.
Jeremy de Villiers just started his lap. He is ever so slightly up on his delta. We'll keep an eye on that.
Dude has
Andres
just managed to
Serrani.
sneak into another flying lap. He'll be our last driver.
Across the line, yes. Andres Serrani is coming into the very last corner, almost a 10th up on his delta. Will he be able to make this stick? It gets great exit, actually. And will fly across the line, maybe make a position improvement. Does. Squeaks into the 105s. Another man joining us in the 105s tonight. Phenomenal qualifying from all of these drivers. Going much quicker than we saw on the practice server. Ryan de Azevedo sets his personal best in 6th order, 106 dead. And Raymond Duggan as well, also on the very, very...
Oh, Jeremy's lost it on the final corner. He was up. I saw a purple first sector. Now it's all up to Jude as the last remaining car on track. He's got a purple mid sector. Flings it through into the final corner now. He's up. Oh, just a hair.
This will be enough.
0.6.
I think this is going to be enough.
0.5, 0.05. It is enough. He sneaks pole position at the death.
I said you're going to be on the track on the very, very death of this with the evolving track, and that proved it.
Time to perfection there by Jude Stewart. Congrats. And yeah, I'm going to quickly do another 30-second ad break. We'll be back with a race start. Righty, we are back. The grid is forming up. About just under a minute left to go. Drivers will be doing their last minute adjustments. Getting ready for their pit stop strategies as well. Just a reminder for the viewers, there is one mandatory pit stop that you have to add at least 1 liter of fuel or do a tire change. There's also a pit window in the middle of the race. I'm trying to remember. I think it's about a 40 minute window. Opens after 10, closes just before 10. Into seat confirmation, we have lights. 4, 5, 6 red lights. We're about to go off and we are racing. Jude Stewart's in the way of the lead. Cornet Breed for Flying Gypsies. It's a 1-2. He's looking to have a clean getaway and he's going to tuck in. Jeremy Julius going wide around the outside, followed by Andres Siani in the red. I see a Flying Gypsies car falling off in the background there. I'm not sure exactly who that was. On board with Andres Serrani right now in P4, looking ahead to the top 3. Ooh, a little bit of a look, and he manages to brake and not dive into that corner there with Jeremy de Villiers ahead, but that has compromised his exit. And alongside now is Mikhail Matthews, who is drag racing it down to this corner. But Andres is going to have the inside line, but I think Mikhail Matthews is enough of an overlap. Oh, he hit the curb there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and looks like that's Sterner who's got past as well.
Yeah, so a little bit a little bit of a loss of traction over the curves, and it was just enough to let the position go through. But Jude Stewart, meanwhile, is still out in front. Just rounding the final corner now, about to complete the first lap. Cornet and Jeremy de Villiers in tow, no position changes for them.
So in general, all drivers getting away nice and cleanly. There's a bit of a train forming, but we know how closely
There's an incident in Ryan de Azevedo. I've just caught it on camera, went flying. And he's actually managed to get it back on track, but there's got to be a monumental amount of damage in that car right now.
Looks like Mikhail Matthews is also recovering. I'm guessing he was involved in that incident.
It did look like a white and blue car involved, yeah. And might be referring to the stewards post-race for that one to figure out exactly what happened. I only caught the tail end of the aftermath. I do know that Raymond Duggan, I think, was the Flying Gypsies car we saw at the start of the race, have an incident as well. So look out for him to make a bit of a recovery drive. He was super quick in practice.
Yeah, all the Flying Gypsies actually have been incredibly quick so far tonight.
Yeah, I think they've definitely put in the work, and it's showing for the pace of this race.
And I mean, Raymond Jude Stewart does the fastest lap of 7.3. You know, Raymond Duggan does have 57 minutes in which to affect his race and get back on track.
Yep, lots of time still to recover. You see Jeremy de Villiers just trying to open up that corner and make some ground on Cornet. DRS wings wide open. You pretty much use them any way you like on this track, I believe. Lawrence Sterner making up a position on Andres Siriani. Lawrence locking up a little, which is going to put him under pressure, and Andres goes wide and has a little bit of a collision with the wall. Oh, that rejoin just breaking. I think that's Mohamed Dokrat behind him. Manages to avoid collision, but he's now going to put the pressure up on the inside of Pirelli. And tucks in behind again. Shout out to Dirk Brandon. Chat, how's it, Dirk? Having a good evening.
Raymond Duggan really closing in on Alex R now. Oh! Alex R off into the side, seemingly on his own. That was very strange. Loss of concentration, maybe?
Perhaps, yeah.
Ryan de Azevedo and who is that? Ryan de Azevedo and Raymond Duggan swapping places as well, and amongst all of that. So Raymond Duggan is now ahead of Ryan Azevedo for 8th. And Raymond Duggan really scampering across. So let's have a look quickly at who's on what tires. Everybody in the field is on the C2 tire, except for Jeremy de Villiers in 3rd, and Mohamed Dokrat in 7th, and Alex R in 9th.
Side by side right now, Mohamed Dokrat just overtaken Andres Siriani. And this three-way battle across the line here, this is going to be a tight T1. Diving to the inside, I think it's Raymond Duggan actually had a little look and putting the pressure on. There's a slight bit of contact there, I think.
That's, yeah, Andres, slight bit of contact with Mohamed Dokrat, I think.
Another drag race up the hill here. Oh, giving him the squeeze, and it's a great move actually for Andres. Siriani, and goes sliding off in the background is Mohamed Dokrat. I think that was all on his own, just had a little bit of an oversteer, and I do know that rounding that corner, it's incredibly easy to just loop the car around. You're a little too aggressive on the throttle.
Who was up the inside there? 2 people up the inside of Raymond Duggan. How did that happen? 2 people. I think it was Ryan de Azevedo and Alex R managed to mug Raymond Duggan into turn 3. That was incredible. So now Raymond Duggan is all over the back of Alex R and Ryan Azevedo. As we see somebody running wide through the second last corner.
On board now with Raymond looking towards P1. Someone's going very defensive on the inside. That's closing up speed. Oh, mind the oversteer, and someone's lost it. I think is that Mohamed Dokrat. No, I think it might be Alex R actually, who just lost it around the first corner there.
Yes, it was Alex R. Okay, so now Raymond Duggan chasing down Mikhail Matthews.
Let's have a little bit of an oversteer moment there.
These guys pushing so hard. Margin's so fine in this race. Jude Stewart still out front with about a 2.5 second gap to Corne Breed. That gap though is very stable at the moment. Jude isn't really breaking away from Corne too much. And Jeremy a further 4 seconds behind.
Carl Matthews running quite wide there through the final turn of Red Bull Mobile. In fact, actually, it's compromised him heavily. And Raymond Duggan just slides by.
Nicely done by Raymond Duggan. He's been a bit of a yo-yo so far tonight, but definitely on the bounce back at the moment in 7th position with Andrew Sirani ahead of him. Ben Wheeler is doing really well by keeping his nose clean at this stage.
Yeah,
up into 5th now. That's really well done from Ben Wheeler right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's up 4 positions from his qualifying. As is Lawrence Sterner just ahead of him, but he's, for now, Ben's got a bit of clean air to deal with.
Jude Stewart pulling out a couple of tenths on Corne Breed that lap.
But Jude's last lap, ooh, a little bit of an oversteer, was a 108.45. Corne's, by comparison, his last lap was a 108.74. So we see Mikhail Matthews disconnect, unfortunately.
Yeah, so he's had a few problems even through qualifying, so something's not lacquer there. So we're going to have a very different looking podium tonight.
Ooh, someone's off in the grass. You see a position change. Jude Stewart. Because Jude Stewart is fallen off the top.
Ooh,
I think that must have been all by himself.
It would definitely was, because he had about a close to a 3-second gap there, and I saw him shaking the wheel a little bit. Whether that's to clean tires or just to figure out if he's got much damage, I'm not sure. But Jude Stewart falling all the way down into 3rd position.
Might have put him under a little bit of pressure here from Lawrence Sterner behind.
He should have the pace to gap Lawrence, but Lawrence is in the slipstream right now.
Yep, it's a long ride up the hill. Jude's going defensive.
It looked like he didn't even have his DRS open, so Jude a little bit shaken at the moment.
Yeah,
there, Jude's DRS opens once more.
Nervous with that isn't straight down the back.
Yep.
Oh,
Jude locking up.
Yeah.
Lawrence almost following him off, though. Such an easy thing to do. You're so concentrated on getting that guy in front of you that you just end up following him right off. But Jude is starting to pull a little bit of time away from Lawrence now. The gap last time was 5.5 seconds to the leader from Jude. Oh, Lawrence!
He manages to hold it. Just, yeah, that could have been catastrophic, but kept it out the wall.
So another second pulled out by Corne Breed on Jude Stewart that lap. Jeremy de Villiers keeping Corne Breed very, very honest still with a 2.2 second gap to him. So we'll have to see how Corne can soak up the pressure. Oh, Jude Stewart's had another problem.
Oh
Jude's
dear.
off again.
Yeah.
Jude's off again.
Just as I was flicking to Lawrence because the gap was coming down, and that's Ben Wheeler coming up behind Jude now as well.
Oh, and Ben's off.
Oh, he's maybe just unsighted by Jude's position on track there, I think. Ooh, careful with the rejoin. Skids across the track. And keeps it out the way. Raymond Duggan sailing past. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, thank
so
you very
Raymond's
much.
now up to 5th, I think. Remember Raymond on his recovery drive started it with 57 minutes left on the clock. He's now got 48 minutes left on the clock, and he's already up to 5th, having had a lot of dices and battles along the way. Jeremy DeVille is now closing in on Corne Breed. That gap was 2.2. It's now 1.8. You have to wonder if the Flying Gypsies are in constant communication with each other, because if they are, you got to wonder what's going to happen when and if Raymond catches Jude, especially just because Jude is not all that consistent, it seems. Blisteringly quick, but has made a few errors.
Will be interesting indeed. I know a lot of teams do like being on shared comms, but others prefer the isolation just to avoid distractions.
Yeah, it really just depends driver to driver. I also wonder with Jude spinning out a couple of times if he's going to have cooked his tires a little bit, and therefore if he's going to take a slightly earlier pit stop than some of the others. Remember, we do have a mandatory pit stop. The pit opens with 50 minutes left and closes with 10 minutes left, so you have a 40-minute pit window in which to make your stop.
Seeing Ryan de Azevedo make up a position on Andris Serrani.
Does look that way. It looks like Andris was recovering
He's under
slightly
a
there.
lot of pressure by Mohamed Dokrat now. This is for position. Oh, there's contact! Oof.
There is contact. Some of the drivers managed to keep it together though. Banging wheels, and now Andris is all over the back of Mohamed Dokrat, looking to go up the inside. That's great. Contact. Well done, chaps.
Between the front wing and that rear right of Mohamed Dokrat. Rear left is should I say.
Dokrat is through. Can he scamper away now? Of course, Ryan de Azevedo not all that far ahead. Dokrat's found some pace. He's going to be looking to try and take down Ryan de Azevedo. Mohamed Dokrat getting very sideways coming out of turn 2. That will allow Andris to be back on his rear wing.
Very squidly exiting the corner there.
Yeah, no chance of a pass right now, but it's certainly going to have him thinking about an opportunity going into turn 1, I would imagine. Battle for 7th position between Ryan, Mohamed and Andris. Definitely the closest on track at the moment. The gap between Corne and Jeremy very much stable right now, around 2.3 seconds. We have seen it fluctuate slightly, but never down to less than 1.8.
Corne Brett's not running away with it right now. Just generally keeping that in check. Interestingly enough, Jeremy is on a harder compound.
Correct.
So we will
No, softer
see-
compound, other way
Oh,
around.
yeah, softer,
So he's
yes.
on the C3, whereas Corner's on the C2.
Right, so it'll be interesting to see how the pit stop strategies play and who's going to jump into the pits first. Expecting
I would imagine
perhaps
that-
Corner might go longer, do a bit of an overcut.
Definitely. So my prediction, what's gonna happen is either Jeremy has worked out how to do a 50-50 on the C3 and is being basically kinder on his tires, or what's happened is these drivers have worked out that a short stint on the C3 and a longer stint on the C2 is required. So as you say, Jeremy would then pit slightly earlier and go onto the C2 with less fuel in the car, while the other drivers then take their shorter stint later on in the race. But we'll have to see. I imagine some guys are just going to be 50-50ing it though. Andreas really keeping Mohammed Dokrat honest here. Definitely seems to be a bit quicker through the middle sector too.
Mohammed Dokrat's last was a 109.93. Andries was a 110.0 pretty much, so kind of neck and neck. Both, actually not both on the same tire. Andries is on the harder compound.
Here, just how much these guys are having to feather the throttle on the exit of turn 2.
Oh, big slide around Rach corner.
Yeah, it just shows how much power. Ooh, hang on, what's happening here? Mohammed Dokrat is all over the back of Ryan de Azevedo. Ryan very slow
Ryan
suddenly.
must have had an off or made a mistake, and he's suddenly under a lot of pressure.
I think he just made a mistake. I don't think he had an off. Unfortunately, Mohammed did not attack the second last corner particularly well. Got a bit overexcited, I think, and that's allowed.
There's contact, unfortunately. And it looks like Andries is trying to wait for Mohammed to recover, so great sportsmanship there. Good job, guys. Just putting his hand up and saying, yep, that was me.
Must be said that these Formula Hybrids do seem to be quite damage resilient. I know damage is only set to 75%, but still, some of these open wheelers get extremely badly affected by any damage to the aero whatsoever. And these cars do seem to be a bit more resilient to that kind of thing.
Certainly seems that way.
I think Jeremy's tires are going off. He's now down to 3.8 seconds away from Corne Breed. I don't know what their last lap times look like, but I'm guessing Jeremy's tires are really starting to suffer at the moment.
Yeah, I've got Jeremy's last at a 108.4, Corne's at a 108.1, so a massive difference. 0.3 of a lap slower Jeremy is right now. Corner across the line again, still consistent 108.1 dead. So yep, certainly the softer compound, the C3 is looking to perhaps fall out of that window now, optimal operating range.
I mean, that's we were seeing qualifying times of around a 105.6 108.6, I think, was the quickest time. No, we were in the 5s, so 105.5. And if corner is doing 108.1s, I mean, that's, you can see just with the harder compound tire and so much more fuel, what kind of difference it makes to the performance of these vehicles.
Just having a look at the battle for third right now between Lawrence Stern and Jude Stewart. It does look like that gap has come down a little bit. Jude's last was a 107.8, and Lawrence is slower, 108.9 for his last. So I think this is a battle about to start developing here. Both on the C2 compound, so just a matter of Jude being a little quicker right now.
He has seemed to find his rhythm once again. We saw a couple of mistakes from Jude, but definitely his rhythm seems to be back. Now let's see how it how he does with hunting down Lawrence, but then more importantly, how he does passing him.
Indeed. One thing to catch, it's another to pass. And looks like Grinder Azevedo's falling down the track right now. He's pulling into the pit lane, that's what's happening.
So we have our first of the pit stops for tonight.
On the C2 compound, I'll let you know what he comes out with. We're predicting a C3, I guess.
Well, I'd be surprised, given that it's so early. It must be to also fix some damage.
Actually, yeah, maybe it's quite early. You should probably stay on the C2 then.
Yeah, I really can't see him doing anything else.
He's out again. Quite a quick pit stop. I'm almost thinking that was too quick to repair any sort of damage. Unless the front wing gets replaced really quickly in these. Not sure you can control the extent of the damage repair like you can. Well, actually you can a little bit. Suspension, body, I think that's about it, really.
And engine, I think.
And engine, yeah, but you wouldn't be doing that.
No, you wouldn't need that unless he's done something strange. But
okay, so maybe body repairs are actually quite quick, and he did slap on a new front wing.
Jude really close to Lawrence now.
Might be a challenge for the corner here. And actually a little bit too far behind. Good exits. Both of them, really.
Both very consistent drivers, so it's going to be interesting to see where Jude tries to effect a pass. Going very defensive. Oh, last of the late breakers and straight past. Oh, and controlling the slide exceptionally well there was Jude.
An exceptional pass, especially with no contact there. So Lawrence is doing all he could to defend, going on the inside line. But yeah, Jude just being really bold on the brakes there. Made it stick.
Yeah, so Jude back to third now. And was leading the race at one stage. Corne Brett's really pulled out a huge gap on Jeremy now. Almost 7 seconds the gap. Remember, it was stable at 2 seconds for a long period of time. So it must be tires.
Yeah, I think so too. He's still doing very consistent laps. His last 107.9. His best only 107.64. Very close to that. Very tight, consistent laps. Got Andres Sriani, I think that's back market traffic, just pulling out of the way there. Good job, Andres. Like Andres pulling into the pits. Also seeing another driver pull into the pits. It looked like in the background it was one of the gypsies, I think.
Jude Stewart coming into the pits as
Was
well.
it Jude, yeah. That's from P3. Lawrence Turner just taking that position for now. Obviously still needs to pit.
So it's interesting, most guys are pitting before
early,
the halfway mark of the race. So
this is interesting. Jude Stewart's gone out with a C1, so the hardest compound now.
aha.
So nice early pit stop and then slapped on the hards.
Now I remember in a previous interview with Jeremy that he said he didn't find too much difference. I think it was Jeremy. Somebody said they didn't find too much difference between the C1 and the C2. So they'd always just gone with the C2. But maybe Jude has been able to unlock the performance of these or make them last that extra amount of time that he's really looking for.
We'll keep an eye on the lap times and see how that goes. The performance delta between the C1 and the C2. And Mohamed Dokrat now in the pits. I think he's also exiting the pits now. Yep, he is exiting on the C3 compound.
So of course the pit stops shaking up the positions a little bit at the moment.
I'm actually going to go and check quickly who has not pitted. It's essentially the top 4.
Okay, so that's Cornet, Jeremy, Lawrence, and Raymond.
Yeah, and only one further down, Ben Whelan, P6, yet to pit. Other half of the field's done the job. I've got a pass here. Oh, a little bit of contact on the main straight. Andres Siani heading up the inside. Oh, that's going to be a dive with
that's
contact.
going to be a... Yeah. Oof, and straight into the wall from Andres.
I'm opting to keep on going. Well, no, he has yielded now. He's just making sure he was out on the straight. So acknowledging his mistakes he is, but yeah, a little scrappy tonight. We did see him have some good pace in the early stages of quali. Maybe just a little bit of jitters, some first debut nerves. And there's a big dive up the inside of Rush. Sliding it through under the locking the brakes.
These two just can't decide which positions they want to be in.
And Jeremy de Villiers, meanwhile, is pitting from top 2, I think.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Jeremy's coming in the earliest of those top guys.
There's a very quick
on the
pit stop.
C3.
Back out on the C3, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, I mean, he went half distance on
Yeah,
C3,
it's a
so
50-50.
I guess go again. But we know that his pace will drop off because
At
of
the
it.
tail end, yeah. Dokrat scrapping still with Andres Siani. He's swapped places again now.
Oh, so close, these guys. They do like do like to slide next to each other, don't they?
Stoner in the... Oh, we see... he just
that's
lost it.
Yep. Big slide there from Andres. Definitely will have cooked those tires.
Yeah. Relieved all the pressure for that position right now. Alex R actually manages to get by amongst all of that catastrophe. And Lawrence Sterner out of his pit stop out on the C2 compound. I think that just means Corne Briss, the final driver yet to pit.
Still on the C2 compound, I would be surprised if he comes out on it this late in the race. I am expecting him.
He's got a 28-ish second advantage to Jeremy de Villiers. Should be comfy enough for a stop.
Yeah, I really will expect him to come out in the C3 here, given that he hasn't pitted at exactly halfway and he's on the C2s right now.
Would be logical in my head. Sometimes the drivers have found something secret that works really well for them that goes against our logic. And right now, all I'm going to be looking at essentially is the lap times, and if they start falling off at all, if they're still pretty consistent. That was a 107.9, still pretty pacey. Race
Very good pace.
Yeah. Jeremy's last was a 107.6, which is actually slightly faster. He's just managed to get past some back market traffic, I think, there. That's about, 300ths of a second quicker right now on that C3 compound. Fresh tires.
Just so consistent as Corner. I've just been watching him for this lap, and very calm, very composed, not sawing away at the wheel, not really sliding the car much.
I'm sure he'll be watching that gap to Jeremy like a hawk. And as soon as he starts seeing it becoming too much of a difference, gain net, lap on lap, I'm sure he's going to peel into the pits. But for now, Liam seems pretty stable. No, as we say that.
He's pitting in now.
Yeah. He's picked the moment.
So race leader into the pits. Let's see how quickly he gets in and out. I imagine this will be very quick, considering Corne has made absolutely no errors up to this point. So there's no need to change. No
damage.
No damage to fix, I mean.
And
out on the C3, there you go.
The fresher tires to Jeremy de Villiers. He should be able to keep this lead now. If he keeps it clean and consistent. That gap down to 7.2 after the pit stops.
That's the field's quite a lot more spread out now. I think the gap between Raymond Duggan and Jude Stewart's about the closest we have on track at the moment.
I'm very interested to see how Jude's getting along actually on this super hard compound. C1's his loss is 108.7. Lawrence is ahead of him as a 108.2, so Lawrence still quicker at this point in the race.
Raymond Duggan can see Jude Stewart ahead of him. Not too much of a... certainly not within slipstream distance, but can see him ahead. Definitely a little bit of a motivation to keep going. Put the pressure on.
Yeah, it's there. It's definitely not out of reach.
So we've got Cornet Breer, Jude Stewart, Raymond Duggan, and Ryan de Azevedo all for the Flying Gypsies, I believe.
Yep.
And that makes up first, fourth, fifth, and seventh on the grid as we are right now. Of those Flying Gypsies, Cornet Breer's on C3, Jude Stewart's on C1, and Raymond and Ryan are on C2. So quite a split strategy as well amongst the greater Flying Gypsies team, which I find quite interesting.
Yeah, you would think a team working together to find a single strategy, but nice to see that variation actually. And obviously different drivers have different driving styles and what they prefer and what suits them.
I mean, it could also be that.
I mean, Raymond Duggan was almost forced into a different strategy from the.
Well, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm wondering is that they had these different strategies on tap. If if you get into a scrap, then possibly you switch to the strategy and so on and so forth.
Different plans, I'm sure. Plan A, Plan B. Looking at the battle for P8 here, looks like Mohamed Dokrat just ahead of Alex Rakatara Solo. And this could be a position change, trying to drag race it up the hill here. I think the inside line is currently Mohammed. He was gonna try and just squeeze and maintain that position. Yep.
Raymond is really starting to haul Jude in now. Closest I've ever seen them. Alex R and Mohammed Dokrat look like they're super close at the moment as well.
Mostly neck and neck. Tucked under braking.
Have a dive up the inside, looks to make the move, bit of a dummy. It doesn't actually work out for him, ends up coming out the complex slightly slower. Lives to fight another day though.
Yep, doing well with the pressure there. This is Dokrat. Thing we unfortunately don't get to look at in the spectator view is the amount of battery harvest. Oh, he goes sliding off, Alex R. And just overcooked that on the exit of T1. But yeah, as I was saying, the strategy and how much battery reserve they have in the tank. And that's Andres Serrani sailing past, just following that mistake as well, capitalizing.
Raymond Duggan's fallen back from Jude Stewart now again. Bit of a concertina between those two. Fluctuating backwards and forth. Raymond, of course, on the C2, Jude on the C1, so possibly those C1 tyres took a bit longer to switch on.
They certainly seem to be doing fine now, as Jude's last is a 107.6, which is really good for race pace, especially being on the hard compound. So I think Raymond may have his work cut out for him if he wants to try and close that gap down now, with just a quarter of an hour remaining.
So Lawrence Sterner is now sitting very comfortably in third position.
Yep, looking strong for a podium here.
Yep.
Lawrence Bowden Racing.
4 seconds separating himself and Jude Stewart. So unless Lawrence's tires go off quite heavily, I could see him managing this very nicely. Lawrence has been running a very consistent race, nothing fancy, and he's reaping rewards for that consistency.
but Jude getting a little scrappy over the exit of one of those corners. Picked up a little bit of dirt on his right-hand side tyres. A small mistake, doesn't seem to have impacted him too much. Very tidy last lap there by Cornet Bread, 108.0 dead. Jeremy de Villiers right now doing 108.7 as last. Slightly slower lap from him, but I think he's on a better lap now. 108.3 is the prediction. But yeah, still slightly slower than Cornet at this point in the race. Not catching at this point. Nice Sterner in P3s, last is 108.6, also no danger of catching back market traffic behind. Raymond crosses the line with a 108.3. That is slightly slower, the quicker lap than Jude's third 107.9. Reports of Andrew Suyani off track. That's on the main straight. He may have lost it on the final corner again. He's on his way. A bit of traffic coming down the main straight now, and some back markers getting out of the way and shuffling the traffic around. This gap has come right down. Battle for P4 now. Jude Stewart and Raymond Duggan. But the back mark is just keeping out of the way there. All done.
Yeah, so I wonder if Jude is struggling a little bit to be consistent on those C1 tires.
Does seem like his last couple of laps are wavering significantly in comparison to Raymond Duggan. 108.68 is last, crossing the line now. We'll see what that is. 108.5. Raymond's 108.4. Inching closer and closer.
Of course, whether or not he can actually make the pass is a whole other story. Ooh, Jude locking up quite heavily there. I mean, actually, Raymond must also therefore be gaining on Lawrence Sterner. Because Sterner's only just a few seconds up the road from Jude.
With three, in fact, you can see them all there in frame right now, and in fact, Lawrence is already going defensive to Jude. So certainly, a battle for podium is not over.
I think that might be a back marker of Ryan de Azevedo, actually.
In between them.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think it's Lawrence Sterner, then Ryan de Azevedo, then Jude Stewart, and then Raymond Duggan on track. But because Ryan is a flying gypsy, it's I wouldn't expect Ryan to hold these guys up, though.
Yeah, I mean, you'd need...
Give them a bit of a toe, and that's about it. And
Yeah.
jump out the way. See Raymond Duggan kind of sliding through some of these corners, really pushing hard now. With only 5 minutes left of this race, the tyres are going to start to go off once more. So you could see some mistakes creeping in.
Especially the C3 tyres.
Yep. Definitely the C3s. So, guys like... Well, actually, there's only one of them. Only Jude is on the C1. So, potentially, this is where...
That's the swap has
they
just
come to
happened.
their own.
Down it's a T1. But Jude has been released.
Ryan happily using a free slip, although locking up heavily. Oh, and Raymond Duggan almost having a spin through T2 as sort of in sympathy. Even Jeremy de Villiers not all that far off. 7 seconds, a couple of minutes, a little mistake here and there, and those C3s going off.
Yep.
We might at the very, very, very last gasp see Jeremy come into the picture. Just keeps it nice and consistent, though. We're not going to have a problem. Duggan now closing up to Ryan de Azevedo. Going to make the pass now.
Yeah, I think that running wide is almost intentional, I guess. Leaving lots of room.
So about 2 seconds between Lawrence and Jude, and another 2 between Raymond and Jude. So a bit of a sandwich here, 2-second sandwich.
Big lock up on Lawrence.
Yeah,
Rain's
Jude does seem to be hunting him down slowly now. About a second and a half between them. Gotta say, Cornet Breed has been absolutely peerless out front. Just not put a foot wrong.
Just certainly hasn't seemed to be any drama whatsoever today. Jude crosses the line, 108.0 dead. Lawrence has 108.6.
16th of a second.
Wow.
Okay. With 1 minute left, Cornet Breed will get over the line for an additional lap. So this is the penultimate lap of the race. And now we go into the last lap of the race. 17 seconds left on the clock, so Cornet Breed will complete 53 laps. Last lap for Jude to try and make something happen. I don't think we're going to see much. In fact, Raymond seems closer to Jude than Jude to Lawrence now. Very close, in fact.
Yeah, I think that battle for P3 is fairly secure now. Lawrence, the
As
road.
long as it doesn't make a mistake, of course.
Cornet, meanwhile, is about to round the final corner.
Yeah.
I think it deserved.
Very deserved victory. Weaving across the line. Fantastic result for Cornet. Yeah, he should be very, very proud of that victory. That was masterclass in consistency. Jeremy de Villiers, also a wonderful result. P2. Good result for Jeremy. I believe that's his highest result this season. As with Cornet and Lawrence Sterner as well. P3. Jude Stewart P4. Raymond Duggan P5. So those guys very close in the end. Fantastic racing from all of them. Jude, of course, unfortunately unable to make that P1 count. Ben Wheeler in 6th. Great result from Ryan de Azevedo P7, Mohamed Dokrat P8, Andres Serrani, our newcomer, one of our newcomers, and going to come through in P9 now, and Alex R in P10.
Oh, that runs out.
Although Alex, I think, may have run out of fuel.
Oh no.
I'm just seeing him coast here. He seems out of fuel.
Unless he's done an in-lap or something, because the tower seems to indicate he's reached the checkered flag.
Ah, okay. Alright,
Yeah.
then that's my mistake.
Alrighty.
Fantastic, and that's us.
Yeah, let's see who we can go and find for the post-race interviews. Alrighty. We'll see if Lawrence Sterner makes it in for 3rd, but for the meantime, let's start with you, Jeremy de Villiers, P2. Congrats. Tell us how'd your race go?
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful the moment. I saw, I didn't have Cornet's place. He was blistering fast tonight, so I just took it easy and brought it home.
Yeah, excellent. And I think Jude Stewart as well was in the mix there, having sneaked the pole position after qualifying, but it looked like he made a bit of a mistake. And then Cornet, he managed to sail past, and then that was the rest of the story written. And it looked like he didn't have any troubles the remainder of this race. How did that go, Cornet?
Hi, yeah, so it was actually quite a lekker race. had a fun battle there with Jude in the beginning, but unfortunately he made a mistake. Jeremy kept me honest in the beginning, but then I saw him slowly chipping away 2/10 per lap and so on. And then I normally go with a longer stint, and so when Jeremy went into
quite long, yeah.
Yeah, so when Jeremy pitted, I just kept an eye on his times to make sure I don't lose too much time. And then, yeah, I kept up the pace, came in for box, and pretty much straightforward race to the end.
Yeah, nice one. It looked like, Jeremy, you did a 50-50 roughly strat split between the C3 on both stints, I think. And Corner, you went longer on the, was it the C2 your first stint, and then dipped into the C3 for the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of went 50-50 on this one, yeah.
But yeah, pretty similar lap times at the end, but I think you guys just seemed to be very consistent and clean, essentially. So well done.
I mean, from a tire degradation point of view, Jeremy, it seemed like you did suffer a little bit more trying to make those C3s go sort of for 50-50. Is that what we were seeing? Is just the tires falling off in the last few laps of each stint?
No, it didn't really feel like it, and I was monitoring the deck. There didn't seem to be too much difference in my prep between the C2 and the C3. It was really a case of, you know, there wasn't much risk, much benefit in taking risk to try and chase Corner. He was just too fast. So I was just taking it easy and seeing where the grip was, but you know, there wasn't any pressure from behind, so just pretty much keeping it error free.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw a few guys, because they were able to keep it error free tonight. They really had good results. I mean, obviously, both of you were able to capitalize with consistent racing as well. So congratulations, well done. I think this is the best result for both of you this season. So really well done, and I'm sure that's going to give both of your championship chances a bit of a boost.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting Lawrence in the booth, so I think that's essentially going to wrap it up for the commentary and the interview process tonight. Thanks very much, guys. And a brief little outro as well, just looking forward into the coming weeks. We're back on with the GT3s next Monday at Valencia, which is a new track recently added to ACC, that is. So I'm quite keen to, well, I'll be driving that. And hopefully I think we'll have some coverage from the likes of SAS probably. It depends on how the new father duties are going for him, of course. And then the following week we've got the GT4s at Nürburgring, and then before you know it, we'll be back at the simF1 at Spa. And so yeah, all the best with the prep for that, guys. Corne and Jeremy and the rest of the field. And
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks very much for everyone on the YouTube live stream for tuning in. And thanks for joining me in the booth as well, Nick. And we'll catch everyone very soon. Ciao for now.
Cheers all.
Cheers.
Bye.